In 2001, the Wolves hosted their first and only All-Star Game for the International Hockey League.
The 27th installment of the International Hockey League's All-Star Game featured a throwback to the original days of the IHL. The defending Turner Cup champion Chicago Wolves would lace up their skates and take aim at the best and brightest stars of the IHL.
The event saw a team of All-Stars from around the league face off against the Chicago Wolves roster that was just coming off a Turner Cup win.
The Wolves are the 2000 champions of this league!
Despite that previous pedigree, the Wolves roster hadn't quite come together by the time the All-Star Game rolled around mid-season.
We didn't have a bad team, we had a bad record. Mm-hmm. And honestly, I know going to the All-Star Game, we were trying to not to embarrass ourselves. Mm-hmm. And I literally thought it might be a 15-0 game. We were that bad.
And the All-Star team was good.
Oh my God! And like if you see, like we talk about championship teams that we played against, that their roster, the teams we beat or lost against in the championship, multiply that. That's what we were playing, and we were trying to survive.
It was league rules, and the Wolves roster was pitted against the best the IHL had to offer.
I remember we had 3 goalies. It was myself, Rick DiPietro, and Schulmeister. And I remember, I didn't really like All-Star games for goalies. I didn't like, so I ended up playing the first 10 minutes, and then Shuey played the last 10, and then Mike Milbury was in from the New York Islanders for Ricky DiPietro. So we said, okay, we'll give the rookie and the young kid both the last 2 periods. So the first time in the history of an All-Star game, there was a shutout. We shut out the All-Star team. It was amazing. And then from that game on, I don't know what our record was, but it was. I bet you most teams can't match it.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, we took off. It was like no one's going to touch us.
Goaltender Wendell Young found himself with some sharp new threads thanks to rookie Rick DiPietro.
You got an MVP jacket. We're getting the shutout, and I started strutting, and I came in. And I needed a jacket, so he had it, and he got the award, and he had to hand it back. So I grabbed him, walked in the dressing room. I said, "Boys, look what Ricky gave me. Look how nice he is." He goes, "He gave me this nice jacket. Look at the guys. What a great guy he is." So, I backed him into a corner, and he goes, "Yeah, take it." And so I embarrassed him into giving it to me. I wore that thing for like 4 or 5 years.
DiPietro had his share of ups and downs with the Wolves, one which saw some complications when the New York Islanders called him up while the Wolves were on a road trip.
Ricky got called up to the Islanders that year, and we were in Kansas City, so he was supposed to get called up. He had a bunch of pads and by different manufacturers, so we brought one pad of one manufacturer and the other pad of the other one, so he had 2 odd pads. So
by mistake.
The trainers usually walk around and double check, because you never know with young guys. And it was a quick trip, so trainers didn't get a chance to double check.
So we had to fly from Kansas City and play in the island that night.
We were going to ship the glove to the Islanders, and we were not able to do that.
So Bill Bentley had to get the proper pad from our dressing room in Chicago and meet him in the island that night.
And then we were going to throw it onto a plane, but they wouldn't take it by itself. So I packed it in a bag and got on a plane and flew to New York.
It was funny, that was the year we ended up winning the championship, and afterwards I saw him at the draft, and he's signing autographs. He sees me walk by and he goes, "Hey coach," he says, "it's funny, hey, once you cut the cancer out of the team," he goes, "you ended up winning the championship," meeting himself. So he was a funny guy. I mean,
A reporter found himself talking to Wendell after DiPietro left for New York, and while Ricky ended up in the Big Apple, Wendell found himself quoted in Sports Illustrated.
I like Ricky a lot.
Yeah, good guy.
He was good. That was the big thing. He's got the big ego and stuff. And when he got called up that time in Kansas City, we were in the dressing room, and I said, and the Chevy was trying to get him a ticket to get to New York that day because he had to be in the game. And actually, I think it was Madison Square Gardens. And I said, "You got to order 2 tickets. One for Ricky and one for Zigo." And I said, the scary part is Zigo is flying first class. So I run into the other room going, "Oh, Ricky, somebody said," and he knew I said it. It was all joking. I got along with Ricky, unbelievable. Fast forward, there was a Sports Illustrated, because Sports Illustrated was following us at the time. Fast forward, the lead-in quote was that quote about his ego and stuff like this, and they never say anything about it. I got friends calling me going, "I thought you got along with Ricky." I said, "I did." They go, "Well, you better read Sports Illustrated." that quote's been a bunch of times that's followed me around about Ricky.
Yeah, I think I've mentioned it a few times.
Ricky and his ego.
Because his agent called me about it.
Just a short time later, the Chicago Wolves would find themselves at home in another league. Rick DiPietro would sign what was then the longest-running contract in hockey history, and Wendell Young would retire and take on a few new roles with the Chicago Wolves organization. Tune in next time as Daring Greatly continues to chart the history of the Chicago Wolves in this exclusive docu-series.